I will know and try to answer back. And okay, so let's continue our lessons on chapter 14, which is wave and sound. Okay, wave and sound. So let me share the slide first. Okay, so this is wave and sound. Okay, chapter 14 in your survey textbook. Okay, the survey textbook, this is chapter 14. Right. So in this topic, okay, you will learn something related to a wave. Okay, types of wave. Maybe wave on a string. That means when you put a wave on a string, okay, what happened to the strings, and what happened? You will see this concept in terms of frequency or maybe the amplitude. Okay. So the sound wave, of course, okay, when we talk about wave, okay, we must, the topics is about a sound wave. Obviously, we want to know further in terms of sound wave, because in the sound wave, they will further our knowledge in the sound's intensity, okay, and then we try to discuss about the Doppler effects, superposition, and lastly about the standing wave. Can you hear me or not, class?
Can say.
Yes, yes, yes.
Thank you. Okay. So first of all, this is wave. Okay, wave is a disturbance. Okay, wave is a disturbance that propagates from one place. Okay, propagates from one place to another. Okay, propagates. The words propagates is specifically for wave. Okay, why? Because wave is something. It's not the same as we move from one place to one place, but wave is a disturbance. Okay, disturbance that propagates is specifically for wave, because wave is like waving, right? Waving. That's why we try to discuss wave when we want to say that wave is a moving, so we should say the wave is propagates, okay, from one place to another. The words propagates means for the wave. A wave propagates with well-defined speed. Okay, that means its motion the wave will propagate at a defined speed, meaning that we can easily calculate, we can calculate the speeds of the wave determined by the properties of the material through which they travel. Okay, so you should understand that the wave is not the wave propagates accordingly. Uh, the wave will propagate and will be defined its speeds in terms of the properties, because sometimes when wave travels in solid, then the speeds is like that. Okay, and what happens when the wave travels in liquid or in gas, so you will know, right? In addition, wave carries energy. Okay, obviously, it have an speeds propagating and have energy, and it is important to distinguish between the motions of the wave itself and the motions of the individual particle that make up the wave. Okay, so you can imagine it's like when we throw a stone, okay, we throw something into a pond or lake, so you will see uh, some sort like when you throw into the water, so the water will actually um, be okay. If you do have one, okay, a surface of the lake, so you will see that it is increased. Okay, the wavefront. Okay, the wavefront. So wavefront is what? So when you see the what should I call that? When wave propagating, yes, I think, yeah, thank you, Adam. Ripples. Okay, the ripples of the water. Okay, it creates ripples, and the ripples is actually uh, enhance. Okay, increase its speed, and then it will fade away. Okay, after sometimes, okay, then it will fade. Okay, so that's how you can see a wave propagating. Okay, so when you talk about propagating of wave or wave, how can wave move? So we should divide wave in terms of two. Okay, this one is how you can define wave, also how you can differentiate between types of wave. Okay, so the types of wave begin with the transverse wave. Okay, the easiest type of waves to visualize is the transverse wave, where the displacement of the individual particle, if, okay, please imagine that if you have, okay, if you can imagine, you have you have hands that hold to the one string, and you try to uh, give some vibrations to the string. Okay, so you try to move up and down, maybe right to left. So you will see this kind of ripples, okay, on the string itself. So that is the wave propagating, and that is the displacements of the wave. Okay. So how can we define? If we can imagine, we put some particle, one particle or two particles, okay, on the on top, or maybe on the string itself, just one particle, and that particle we move at the right angles to the directions. Okay, right angle to direction. If the directions is going this way, okay, direction is going to the right. Okay, you will see my arrow, and the wave of the particles are moving at the right angles. Okay, at the right angles, or maybe you can say perpendicular to the displacements of the wave. So this is transverse wave. Okay, note that the wave travels in the horizontal directions, even though your hand oscillates vertically. Okay, so that's why, okay, the propagations of the wave is going to the right, or maybe it's going to the horizontal directions, but you are actually moving or try to make the wave move by oscillates your hands vertically. Okay, so that is the difference between, so this is your hand vertically, okay, moving ups and downs, and then you will see the displacements of the wave is going to your left and right. So this is why, okay, by combining these two, so this is the right angle, or you can see the perpendicular to each other. Okay, if you look at any point on the string, it to move vertically up and down. So you will see when you have any points on the string itself. So this is actually, if you can, okay, uh, you can observe, okay, each particle. Okay, try to imagine if you do have a particles, so it will move. Yeah, this thing will move ups and downs only. But if you can see as a whole things, okay, you will see the wave is actually moving to the right. Okay, we are actually try to imagine that the particles of the wave is moving up and down, and right now the true displacements of the wave is actually going to the right. Okay, so the examples of transverse wave will be the light and the radio wave. Okay, radio means that doesn't mean the radio only, but maybe we do have a walkie-talkie. So that is kind of radio we're talking. Okay, the light, of course, you can see the light travels in a straight line. Light travels in the straight line, so you can easily see lights. Okay, as the particles of the light is actually moving up and down, while the wave as a whole thing is moving to the propagates to the front. Okay, so the other types of wave will be the longitudinal wave. Okay, what is the longitudinal wave? In a longitudinal wave, the displacement of the individual particle is parallel. Okay, remember the displacement. Okay, let's say if you want to make the wave travels to the right. Okay, now look at the particles. So if you can imagine one particle, okay, one particle is that moving. So it's saying here is a particles is parallel to the directions of the motions of the wave. So maybe when you do have one particle like this, it will also move this way. Okay, well, it will move ups and downs. So this particular behavior is actually making the wave look like it have a compression and refractions. Okay, a compression and refractions. Okay, let's try to imagine this thing as a caterpillar. It's like a caterpillar. Ulat beluncas. Okay, you see a caterpillar move as like going to the front and back, to the front and back. So that particles will move. Okay, the caterpillar is going to the front, going forward, but the particles, the body of the caterpillar is actually moving parallel to the displacement. Okay, so it creates a compressions and the refractions. Okay, so on this part, okay, the examples of longitudinal wave is sound wave. It's very good examples when you have a sound wave. Okay, how sounds travel? So the sound travel longitudinally. Okay, sound will travel by using. Okay, let's say if you want to talk to your friends. Okay, so what happened is, okay, you throw your voice out, okay, using that voice, so all the air molecules in front of you now have becomes compressed and refractions. So what happened is, okay, the air molecule in front of you will be compressed and stretched, and afterwards all the particles or all the sound that trembles together with the wave now come to the ear of your friends. So that's why we are saying that the longitudinal wave is the particles parallel to the directions of motions. Okay, it's like a caterpillar. It's not a caterpillar, but it's like we are looking at the ulat beluncas, right? So the examples of longitudinal wave is sound wave. Okay, so remember we want to discuss a lot in terms of sound wave, right? Okay, this is the water wave, but this just to highlight the wave front. Okay, where is the wave front and whatsoever? Okay, right, it doesn't matter much. But now we look at the wavelength, frequency, and speed. Okay, wavelength, frequency, and speed. All right, what is wavelength? So wavelength is the panjang gelombang. So have a lambda. Okay, this is lambda. Okay, lambda means wavelength, and we also have frequency. Remember, we learned previously last week about frequency. Okay, which is frequency is the 1 over period. Okay, and also speed. Okay, and also speed. So what is the connection between velocity or speed, wavelength, and frequency? Okay, right. So the maximum upward displacement is called crest, right? It's called crest. What is the maximum upward displacement? Okay, meaning that in our own terms we use a puncak, so we call that as crest. Okay, puncak, right? So maximum downward displacement is called through. Okay, maximum downward displacement is still downward. Okay, it is still a maximum value, but it is downwards, meaning that the negative of the crest is called through. Okay, which is here. So this is crest and this is through, right? The wavelength lambda is the distance over which wave repeats. Okay, the distance over which wave repeats. Okay, and the period is the time for one wavelength to pass a given point. In other words, for time required for one complete oscillation. Okay, time required for one complete oscillation. The same goes to the frequency. When you do have a period, so 1 over period is called frequency. The reciprocal of the period is called frequency. Okay, right. And because of that, we can easily say in here, the speed is actually distance over time. Okay, the speed is a v, is distance over time. So for wave, distance is the panjang gelombang. We call that as lambda. Lambda over t. So lambda over t is like lambda over 1 over t, 1 over period. So lambda times frequency is called V. So you already know, I think most of you, okay, always remember this equation, V equals to F lambda. Why? Because it's very obvious. Okay, we use a lot in our secondary school. V equals to F lambda. V is the speed, F is the frequency of the wave, and lambda is the wavelength of the wave. Okay, wavelength. So you should know every terms that we use must be in SI unit. So speed is the meter per second, frequency is the second negative one, or maybe you must want hertz, and lambda is what? Lambda is meter. Okay, so that's why we are giving M over S. Okay, so this is the wave on a string. Okay, so how to know the speed of wave on a string? Okay, the speed of wave is determined by the properties of the material through which it propagates. Why? We need to define why we need to determine the properties of the material. Okay. Obviously, when we talk about wave, okay, remember, just now we are trying to discuss about transverse and of course the longitudinal. Okay, transverse and longitudinal wave. Okay, these both wave, okay, is obviously have a speed. Okay, why? Because V equals to F lambda, right? But right now, we should know when it travels on a string, this string is not the same. Okay, maybe they will give you a options for the string, because a string is just a matter of a straight line. Okay, that will be the medium for wave to travel with. Okay, just a medium. So the string actually can be made of a lot of materials. Okay, for example, when we play guitar, okay, that's made of, maybe it's like I don't know what type of strings that we use in the guitar, right? Okay, maybe it's only, maybe it will be like a copper wires, okay, nickel wires, right? A lot of types of materials that we can use as a medium for traveling of wave. Okay, so for a string, the wave speed is determined by the tension in the string and of course the mass of the string. So how can we define V? Okay, V with this thing tension and this thing's mass. So now we look, okay, this one. A heavy string responds slowly to a given disturbance because of its inertia. Thus, if you try to sending a wave through a string, you will find that the wave in the string travels more slowly. Okay, why? Okay, so of course, the total mass of the string doesn't really matter. The longer string has more mass, but its other properties are basically the same. Okay, mass per unit length. Okay, remember this word, mass per unit length. We expect that a larger mass per unit length results in a slower wave speed. So we should define a mass per unit length as mu. So what is mu? Mu is mass per unit length. Okay, how can we put this thing into the V? Right. So this is the speed of a wave on a string. Okay, the speed of a wave. Okay, I can say, but you have to know why on a string. Okay, because speed of wave, okay, normally it's not always on a string. Okay, maybe we can put wave, we can put sound wave in the air. Okay, maybe we can make the wave travels, okay, on the water or in water. Okay, so this thing is the speed of wave on a string. So specifically on a string, okay, that have a mass and a length of string, so we can put mu. So V is actually equals to the square root of F is what is the force that we use to to make the string vibrates. Okay, so have mu. So what is mu? Mu is M over N. Okay, as we can see, the speed increases when the force increases and decreases when the mass increases. Okay, why? Because mass is actually on the below part, which is the denominators. So when the mass is actually reciprocal or inversely, okay, inversely proportional to v. Okay, so maybe we can write it down as mu v equals to f over mu, which we know that mu is m over n. So meaning here, the mass on the string, the mass of the string is actually giving you a hint, okay, giving you information that it will influence the speed of wave. Yes, of course. Why? Because mass on the string. Let's try to imagine if you do have one string like 1/10 of your fingers, 1/10 of your fingers, maybe 1/10 of the size of your fingers, maybe 1/10, 150, or maybe 1/100 of yours, the size of your hands, and we compare to strings that actually pulling a sheep. Besar lagi kan? So as we can see, the speed will increase when the force increase. So everything that related to force, okay, force is at the numerator, so it will influence V. Okay, meaning that the force increase, velocity increase. But if the mass, okay, if you can write down as V equals to the square root of F L over M, then you will see directly that V and F is actually, sorry, F and M is actually inversely proportional. That if V, if F is increased, then V will also increase. But if M increase, then V will be down. Okay, so this is inversely proportional. So this is the one examples. Okay, a 12 meters rope is pulled tight with a tension of 92 Newton. So this is 92 Newton is what? F. Okay, and this is what? This is L. 12 meters rope. Okay, and of the rope is given a tongue. Okay, what is tongue? Tongue means it'll pick. Okay, if you play guitar, if you play, so it creates, okay, it creates the first vibrations on the strings. Okay, it takes 0.45 seconds for the disturbances. So this is time to propagate to the other end. What is the mass of the rope? What is the mass of the rope? Okay, so you will know V equivalent to F over mu. So what is F? F is obviously F. So V equals to F over mu is M over L. So FL over M squared. Okay, so right now you can see if you do have mu, okay, and obviously mu is what? Mu is F over V squared. Okay, F over V squared. Okay, try to imagine these things, right? So V equals to F over mu. Now we convert it back. Okay, we square the V first, square the V, and V we divide with F, F divide with V, and the mu is F over V squared. Okay, F over V square. Then we get mu first with 0.13 kilogram per meter. I need you to try it on your own. 0.13 kilogram per meter. And then afterwards, from mu, okay, we can get, because we know mu is M over N. So it's a good practice for you to use to understand mu, M, and also length of string. And of course, the final answer will be 1.6 kilogram. Okay, now we have a reflections. Okay, reflections of wave. When a wave reach the end of a string, it will be reflected. If the end is fixed, the reflected wave will be inverted. Okay, remember. Okay, when a wave reach the end of string, okay, it will be reflected. Remember, wave will be reflected. Wave can be reflected if the end of is fixed. Okay, the end is fixed like this. So this is fixed. Okay, meaning that we fix the rope or the strings in the end of the string to the somethings that so firm, like say the wall, or maybe you tie it to the any uh, any end of end of a fixed end. So you will see that the wave will be reflected, and it will be reflected will be inverted. So we reflect back, but in the inverted. If the wave comes forward, uh, it will come forwards in the positive wave front, or maybe on the forward like this. Okay, then we when we reflected, okay, will be going down. If the end of the strings, however, if the end of the string is free to move transversely, okay, transversely, remember, wave moving to the horizontal part, but the particle is going up and down, okay. But on the moving, okay, the end that can move freely, the wave will be reflected without inversion. Okay, so meaning that when it comes like this, okay, it will be reflected. Okay, it's not inverted. Okay, it's not the same as part A. Okay, so that will be the reflections. Okay, all right. So this is the sound wave. Okay, a sound wave are longitudinal wave similar to the wave on a slinky. Okay, a slinky spring. Okay, if anyone cannot imagine what is a slinky spring, then you should watch a Toy Story, the movie Toy Story. Okay, you can see the slinky dog. So like that. Okay, that is how you imagine the string. Okay, obviously the string, the spring is can easily stretch, compress, and stretch, so that it will influence, or it will show you how the longitudinal wave. Okay, the how. Here is the wave is a series of compression and stress. Sorry. Okay, in a sound wave, the density and pressure of the air of other medium carrying the sounds are the quantity that oscillates. Okay, so you will see when we are, okay, when we try to use a drum membrane, okay, how can you say, you see when you, when somebody, okay, try to hit the drum, okay, what happened, you can see in the air molecules that there will be a compression and expansion, or maybe this one is a rarefaction. Okay, compression and a series of compression, and this is what this is actually simple harmonic motion. Why? Because it repeating itself over and over again. But we don't want to discuss a simple harmonic motion because that is, in the previous chapter. But here we want to stress out in terms of how the longitudinal wave works. Okay, so the speed of sound is different in the different materials. It's very good terms, very good. It's very good. It's very good analogy how to determine, okay, the speed of sound, because sound travel differently. Okay, as like I'm saying just now, okay, when it travels in solid, liquid, and gas, it will not have the same speed. Okay, if you can remember, if you can look at the tables on your right, the speed of sound in various material. Okay, you can see aluminum, a granite, a steel, and a pyrex glass, maybe a copper. This one, okay, is considered a metal. Okay, metal means solid. Okay, solid. Okay, this one is like a metal. Okay, plastics. Maybe this one is also metal, considering plastics. And how about fresh water? Fresh water at 20 degrees Celsius, fresh water at 0 degrees Celsius. If you can look here, okay, the value of 20 degrees Celsius is not the same as the value of 0 degrees Celsius. That's due to the difference in temperature. Okay, the hydrogen, the helium, and also the air. Okay, this one is both is what is called water. Okay, so this is type of liquid. And hydrogen, helium, air, and air 20 degree and air 0 degree is called gas. Okay, in air under normal atmospheric pressure and temperatures, the speed of sound is approximately 343 meter per second. So take this value. Okay, the speed of sound is approximately 343 meter per second. Okay, now you have matter, you have water, and you have gases. At a different temperature, it will give you different speed of light. Okay, different speed of light. If you look at the value, okay, at the solid part, okay, look at the value of the speed. Okay, how many? You look at the aluminium, it's 6,420 meter per second. Okay, 6,420 meter per second. And with regards to the speed of sound in air, which is 20 degree Celsius. Try to compare 343 and 6,420. Definitely it will give you a different value. Why? Because one is in the gaseous region and another one is in the solid region. So definitely, okay, you should know something. When wave or when sound wave travels in the sound wave travels in the solid, so the value of the speed of sound is actually very high when compared to the liquid and gas. So you should know how to determine or how to at least have some ideas on how about the speed of sound in each phase, which is solid, liquid, and gas. Okay, wishing well. You drop a stone from a rest into a well that is 7.35 meters deep. How long does it take before you hear the splash? Okay, noted here that the depth of the deep of the well is 7.35. Okay, and measuring from the surface of the water and until the edge of the well, okay. So calculate the time for the stone to drop. Now they are using d equals to half gt squared. Okay, yeah, don't get me wrong. Okay, this equation is actually comes from y equals to y naught v naught yt. Okay, y naught equal yt plus minus half gt squared. So you need to remember to put time, okay, because we want to find t. How about g? G is 9.8. Okay, it's not 9.81, it should be 9.8 meter per second squared. Okay, so how long does it take for the to hear the flash? That will be the 1.22 seconds. And how about next? Okay, if we are using d equals to vt squared, which means we have v d per t, and then d is equivalent to vt. Okay, so this vt is actually d. And therefore, okay, we can find that the time is 1.24 seconds. Okay, it's actually the same, right? So when we talk about loudness, okay, this one is a sound wave, sound family. So when we talk about loudness, okay, it related to the intensity of the sound wave. Okay, related to the intensity. And if you try to imagine loudness and pitch, okay, normally when you watch the a program, a singing program, so they always talk about pitch. Okay, you have you have powerful pitch. You have a very uh, um, not so good pitch. Okay, pitching, lari dan sebagainya. Okay, so that is related to frequency. Okay, loudness means kekuatan bunyi, loudness, very loud. It relates to the intensity, and while for the pitch is related to frequency. Okay, the sound wave can have any frequency. The human ear can hear sounds between 20 hertz. Okay, remember this word, 20 to 20,000 hertz. That's depending on the situation. Why? Okay, the sound wave can have any frequency. The human ear can hear sound. Why? Because we are in the regions of 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz. That is in terms of frequency. Sounds with frequency greater than 20,000 hertz are called ultrasonic. And sound with the frequency less than 20 hertz are called infrasonic. Okay? So meaning that if you do have infrared, so which part? Okay, so the ultrasonic wave are familiar from medical applications. Elephants and whales communicate in part by infrasonic wave. Okay, so you will see, right? So where is our region? Where should be the regions? Okay, when we talk about sound. So from 0 to 100 we call infrasonic, and from 100 to 10,000 that should be give you sonic. Okay, and afterwards they go to ultrasonic, and afterwards the higher the ultrasonic will be the hypersonic. Okay, so should try to understand. Okay, this is the sonic. This is where we can hear. Okay, human being, right? So this one is in terms of hertz, meaning that the frequency. So normally when you have frequency, you can easily get some things that related to frequency. Maybe we can easily get period or whatsoever. Okay, and for today, the last part is the sound intensity. Okay, I want to teach you about the sound intensity. So what is the sound intensity? So intensity, as I'm saying now, is related to loudness, loud. Okay, kekuatan, kenyaringan, nyaringnya. Okay, meaning that we have two sets of people, boys and girls. Okay, boys and girls. So boy will have a very loud sound. Very loud sound is due to the intensity of light. Okay, while women have a frequency types of sound. Why? Because they like to scream. Let's say if you are screaming, they will scream like a very high frequency. It's not loud compared to men, but compared to another boy. But when we talk about the women's vocal cord, okay, it will produce a frequency. Because it will produce a I call it, what should I call it? Frequency, intensity. Sorry, intensity and frequency. Okay, frequency is due to pitch. Okay, frequency is due to pitch. Okay, and loudness is due to the intensity. Okay, now we talk about loudness. Okay, the loudness. So the intensity is the energy E per area T. Okay, energy is equal, loudness is equivalent to E per AT. So the definitions of intensity is I equals to intensity kali equals to P over A. What is P? P is the power. Okay, P is the power, and A, okay, and A is the area. Power per unit area. Okay, power per unit area. So that is how you determine the loudness, the intensity, power per unit area. So when the power, you have work, you have watt per unit meter square. So watt per meter square, when you see the unit is watt per meter square, you know this, that will be the intensity of the light. When we talk about intensity, we should know it's related to loudness. Okay, right. So this is how you will see I is equivalent to P over A. Okay, so this is actually the area. Okay, the area here is actually this, and you can see here this one is what? Okay, this one is the intensity. Intensity of the sound. Now go through a certain area, so that's why we are calling that as I. Okay, so the energy comes from the sound, the source of the sound. Now give you intensity. Okay, so see, this is the good examples, not good examples really. It's an explanation about sound. Okay, when we talk about loudness, when we talk about the sound, that the bat used to fly. Okay, a bat is actually not really blind, but we can say that bat is actually have uh, troubles. Okay, but we cannot say okay, we cannot say that the bird is actually colliding to each other inside the cave. Okay, why? Because they are using a good frequency detector. Not the it's like they put inside. So when bat it give you a certain amount of sound, then other friends or maybe other obstacles, maybe your a source of food, maybe with punya dinding, okay, will reflect back. It will reflect back, and okay, the bats know, okay, maybe it's too close uh, to the uh, to the wall, or maybe to the prey. So that's how bat can see when they are living in the cage. So this is I. I what? I is intensity. Okay, this one is what, this P is what is power, and A is the area. How can we get power? Okay, we know power is actually E over T. E over T is actually power times with divide with A. So that's why we get power per unit area. And why? They change area to 4 pi r squared. Okay, this is due to the sphere type vocal cord. Okay, sphere maksudnya vocal cord untuk bat ini dalam bentuk macam guli kecil je, macam bentuk atau guli ataupun maybe a ball bearing. Okay, bentuk dia macam tu. So it will give the out the so this one is like okay, you imagine a guli, bentuk dia bulat. So that will enhance your vocal. So it will create your vocals comes from your vocal cord, and the pattern or the shape of the um, vocal cord, okay, we assume as to be sphere type. Okay, so that's why we are using 4 pi r squared. Okay, and try to imagine if you do have one things. Okay, this is energy, or maybe intensity number one, and this one is intensity number two. Okay, using this both two, you can easily get. Okay, you can cancel out each other. Cancel p, okay, cancel power. Okay, pi and 4 pi, 4 pi and 4. So now leave us 1 I intensity I r1 I square over equals to I2 r2 square. So this is the intensity with the distance from a point source. Okay, from a point source. Okay. All right. So I think we'll stop here first.